Welcome to Media Monday Raven Nation. I'm Tyler Aragao alongside men's ice hockey goaltender Tom McGuckin. And Tom, we'll get right into it. You guys are 2 games into your season, 0-2 so far. But really, it's been a tale of 2 different games compared to the Framingham State game and then your home opener against Worcester State. Take us through the differences between those 2 games.
Well, I think against Framingham, we took the first 20 minutes to kind of get our feet wet a little bit, and that's what really hurt us in that game. After the 20 minutes, I think the score was basically 1-1 for the last 40, so it was definitely, I think we looked like 2 teams out there between the first period and the next 2, and then against Worcester, we battled the whole game, and it was just an unfortunate finish for us, but I think there's a lot of positives to take out of the last 40 against Framingham, and then throughout the whole game against Worcester.
And kind of piggyback off of what you said about the Framingham game, it did look like you guys had 2 different teams out there the first 20 minutes. It was 6-1 after 20, as you mentioned, then 1-1 the rest of the game. How is it your team able to sort of transition from the last 40 minutes against Framingham into that game against Worcester State, who was coming in 2-0, they were playing good hockey? How are you able to sort of shift that momentum from game to game?
Well, I think, we reviewed the film after Framingham, took, the positives away from it, went over the negatives, what we needed to do better, and then we basically just had a good practice the next day, and then kind of just refocused on Worcester. We knew if we brought, our best game forward for 60 minutes, it'd be a good tight game, and like I said, it was just an unfortunate finish for us.
You talk about that refocusing. For you personally, a tough outing in that game against Framingham. You don't make it out of the first period, obviously. Team game, can't put it on the goaltender. But you're able to bounce back against Worcester State at home. It's kind of a quick turnaround for you. As a goaltender, obviously the mental part of the game is huge. How are you able to sort of regroup yourself after just a tough outing?
Well, having a short-term memory is definitely important as a goalie. Whether you give up a bad goal or have a bad game, it's something you just, forget about. And I guess after Framingham, I took the night to kind of to think about it, review the game, and then Friday morning it was on to Worcester basically. So it was really, luckily it was a short turnaround, so I didn't have much time to really think.
And you had a strong outing against Worcester State. Don't get the win, but did look much more comfortable in net. Your team also did respond. You're getting shut out for about 50 minutes of play, but then explode for those 3 quick goals. And as a goalie, playing in those tight games, obviously the pressure mounts as time dwindles down. But your team comes out, they score those 3 consecutive goals. What's kind of going on through your mind on the other end of the ice?
Obviously I was happy to see it finally start scoring. But I think for me it was just basically concentrating on the next shot I was going to face. Those guys took care of what they needed to do in scoring, and I was just focused on doing my job and stopping the next shot. So.
And it came down to that last shot, the .31 to go. Their senior Moran cutting in on you, makes a nice play and is able to tuck it in. There's 1 minute and 31 seconds to go. What's sort of the atmosphere, not only just in your mind, but your team's psyche with just so little time left, and you got to get 1 more goal to tie the game? What's sort of going through everyone's head?
We've just kind of always been told to just battle, just keep going. We've had to face a lot of adversity before, so I think just, I don't think we were defeated in our minds at that point. We just kind of thought, we just got to keep battling and keep going. I think we did that. So.
You're heading out on the road again, Fitchburg State. That's your next opponent. But then on Saturday, you kick off Anytown action against St. Michael's. I know Fitchburg is up next, but kind of jumping ahead just a little bit, how important is it for you guys to kind of get off to a good start against your first Anytown matchup on Saturday?
It's definitely really important. I think tomorrow against Fitchburg is going to be a good, a first step towards Anytown play. We'll play tomorrow night and then kind of really get our minds focused on St. Mike's on Saturday, which is obviously a huge game. But I think tomorrow night's even a big game too, just for ourselves, kind of get our minds hopefully in a positive spot. We come out with a good 60 minutes.
And for you against the NE10 last year, you were absolutely on fire. Obviously, goaltender of the year, 657 saves. You were under a very heavy workload. Senior this year, expected to have an even heavier workload with the changing positions. Obviously, a new coach, new back end. You lose your top two defensemen who graduated last year. Is there any pressure, or more pressure for that matter, being put on you this year?
I guess all the pressures probably come from myself more than anything. But I've really just been trying to focus on when I'm out there, just concentrate on the next shot. Don't try and do too much. And I think all the pressure, there's probably pressure coming from other places, but I think most of it's coming from myself, and luckily I can control that. So.
Absolutely, and we'll kind of go back to you're starting to kick out any 10 play, and for you guys as a team personally, you haven't had much success in the NE10. For you this year, it's your senior season, one last go around. What's sort of the ideal way for Tom McGuckin and Franklin Pierce men's hockey to go out this year?
I definitely think it'd be, our goal is to make the playoffs. If we were close last year, closer than a lot of people realize. And I think all the guys in the room know that that's something we can definitely achieve. We played a lot of close games with any 10 teams last year, and it's definitely something that's achievable for us. And I personally think we can definitely make a good run at winning the whole thing. So.
Absolutely. Well, Tom, before we let you go, give us one interesting little tidbit about yourself that other people would not know about you.
I think some guys on the team might know, but a lot of people don't know that I'm ambidextrous, so I can basically throw right with both hands, so that's about it.
All right. Hey, that's a pretty interesting skill right there.
Yeah.
All right, Raven Nation. He's Tom McGuckin. I'm Tyler Aragao. Thanks for tuning in.